Hello and good afternoon. Here is the news afternoon. First, the highlights. Lagos State government trains healthcare workers on active management of third-stage labor to curb maternal mortality. Federal government delivers 1,200 compressed natural gas kits to 5 states. On foreign Central Europe factories, retailers shut in flood hit areas. And in sports, Team Ondo, Anambra win National Youth Games, 100 meters gold medals. And now the details. I am Mike James. In continued efforts to combat maternal mortality, the Lagos State Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, and the Saving 1 Million Lives Program for Results, has organized a 3-day training for healthcare workers on the active management of the third stage of labor. The training, which brought together about 40 healthcare workers from primary, secondary, and tertiary healthcare facilities, was a blend of theoretical and practical sessions. Speaking on the importance of the training, the Director of Family Health and Nutrition, Lagos State Ministry of Health, Folashade Oludara, noted that the training aimed to bridge the knowledge gap among newly recruited healthcare workers and update the skills of existing staff. One of the facilitators at the training, an obstetrician and gynecologist from the Lake State University Teaching Hospital, LASUTH, Yusuf Oshudi, noted that excessive bleeding and hypertensive disorders in pregnancy are the 2 leading causes of maternal death, and addressing these issues could reduce maternal mortality by 40%. The government has reiterated that adopting the Environmental and Social Impact Assessment (ESIA) process is a must to ensure sustainable implementation of all developmental projects in the state. Commissioner for the Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, emphasized this at a 1-day stakeholders engagement workshop with financial institutions and professional bodies, stating that its adoption has become necessary for all professionals in the built environment in line with global best practices. Wahab said Lagos State remains the preferred destination for many businesses operating within the various sectors of Nigeria's economy. According to him, the establishment of industrial facilities, creation of new settlements, and construction of infrastructure all come with huge adverse environmental impacts, ranging from pollution of various environmental media to sometimes irreversible environmental degradation, if not properly managed. Lagos State Deputy Governor Bafemi Hamzat has urged Muslims in the country to draw inspiration from the exemplary life of Prophet Muhammad by embracing virtues such as honesty, perseverance, and patience to create a more prosperous Nigeria. Hamzat made the call when it was conferred with the Beacon of Islam, Peace, award by the Lagos Central Mosque during the Maulud Nabi celebration with the theme Prophet Muhammad SAW, the mercy to mankind, held at the Lagos Central Mosque, Nnamdi Azikiwe Street, Lagos. The Deputy Governor urged Islamic faithful to learn from the behavior and attitude of the Holy Prophet, which includes honesty, service to humanity, and patience, among others, as they cannot effectively interact and cohabit peacefully with others without having these traits. Also, wife of the president, Oluremi Tinubu, urged all Nigerians to reflect on the Prophet's teachings of love, kindness, and tolerance. In her Maulud Nabi greeting, Mrs. Tinubu emphasized the importance of embracing the values of peace, compassion, and unity exemplified by the Prophet. She encouraged Nigerians to use this opportunity to build stronger communities and a more harmonious society where love and kindness reign supreme. To the rest of the story, the federal government has continued its push for increased conversion of vehicles from petrol and diesel to compressed natural gas, CNG, with the supply of 1,200 conversion kits to 5 states across the country. The Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, Michael Oluwagbemi, said the government was determined to increase the number of vehicles using CNG as part of efforts to reduce dependence on petrol and diesel for transportation. According to him, Nigeria's long dependency on petrol and diesel had proven to be too costly, with the country spending between $6 and $8 billion annually to subsidize the product. Olagbo said the target was to have at least 18,000 vehicles running on CNG by the end of the year, with additional 150,000 conversion kits expected in the country before the end of the first quarter of 2025. President Bola Tinubu has returned to Abuja after his official visit to China and his short stay in the United Kingdom. This was contained in a statement by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Ononuga. President Tinubu left Abuja for Beijing, China on the 29th of August and started his official visit on Tuesday, 2nd of September. While in China, President Tinubu held bilateral meetings with President Xi Jinping and Chinese Prime Minister Li Qiang, with 5 memoranda of understanding signed between Nigeria and China. He also attended the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation in Beijing and, as chairman of ECOWAS, delivered a paper on global peace, stressing multilateralism and cooperation as essential ingredients for international peace. The president held a meeting with representatives of Nigeria in diaspora organization in China, during which he spoke on the necessity of the reforms being implemented by his government in Nigeria and hoped that they would lead the country to a destination of good roads, constant power, and good schools like in China. President Tinubu left Beijing for London, where he met with King Charles III and discussed issues related to climate change and action. And in some foreign news, factories and stores across Central Europe have shuttered production lines and closed their doors due to flooding that has killed at least 10 people and forced tens of thousands of evacuations and submerged towns from Poland to Romania. In Ostrava, an industrial city of 290,000 people in northeast Czech Republic, a chemical plant partially owned by China's Wanhua Chemical Group has been shut. A spokesman, Jindrich Vanek, said cooking plant, one of the largest producers of foundry coke in Europe, has stopped chemicals production but was continuing to keep cooking batteries at minimum levels. Border areas between the Czech Republic and Poland were hit hard over the weekend, following days of heavy rain. Some bridges collapsed and homes were destroyed, while villages and towns in eastern Romania were submerged. And finally, in sports news, Team Ondo and Anambra have produced the champions in the boys and girls 100 meters game in the 2024 National Youth Games in Asaba, Delta State. Team Ondo's Olumide Ibikunle delivered a clutch performance in the boys' final, coming through with a big performance to win the gold with a time of 11.2 seconds. The first two positions were a battle of Southwest States, as Muhyiddin Adeniji of Ogun State finished second in 11.37 seconds, while Jacob Olumo of Delta State came third in 11.38 seconds. In the girls' final, Rosemary Nwankwo of Anambra State emerged champion, crossing the line in a time of 12.24 seconds. Also in the boys' 1,500 meters final, David Yang of Plateau State won the gold. Messi Okwemi of Osun State finished second, while Moses Gift of Delta State came third. That was our news at 12, but just before we go, maintain adequate distance from the vehicle ahead of you to avoid collision. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms on X, Traffic Radio 961, Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch our news and programs live on YouTube, Traffic Radio 961. You can also visit our website, www.trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration constructed watch towers with alarm bells and perimeter fences in model colleges? Well, you can get more details on the Legacy Government website. And to end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. In a continued effort to combat maternal mortality, the Legacy Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, and the Saving 1 Million Lives Program for Results, has organized a 3-day training for healthcare workers on the active management of the third stage of labor. The federal government has continued its push for increased conversion of vehicles from petrol and diesel to compressed natural gas (CNG), with a supply of 1,200 conversion kits to 5 states across the country. And we also told you that factories and stores across Central Europe have shuttered production lines and closed their doors due to flooding that has killed at least 10 people and forced tens of thousands of evacuations and submerged towns from Poland to Romania. And then in sports, Team Ondo and Anambra have produced the champions in 3 boys and girls 100 meters game in the 2024 National Youth Games in Asaba, Delta State. And for contact with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That ends the news broadcast compiled by Adirayodu Olaya. Thank you for listening, Lagos. My name is Mike James. Good afternoon.